is Bob Carpenter with Ray Knight in Phoenix. Mark McGuire, Tony La Russa. First place Cardinals in the Central. First place D-backs from the West. Memorial Day, a great traditional holiday in Major League Baseball. Today, we're in a very untraditional ballpark. The Bank One ballpark in Phoenix, Cardinals and the Diamondbacks. And in the National League Central, St. Louis fights off a feisty Cincinnati club with the addition of Ken Griffey. Meanwhile, in the West, the Diamondbacks a healthy lead over Sean Green, Gary Sheffield, and the LA Dodgers. Welcome to Memorial Day in the desert. Bob Carpenter with Ray Knight. This is the first signpost of the season, Ray, where you really evaluate where your ball club is at. How do you feel about these two in their respective races?
I really like both of these ball clubs. The Cardinals have come out smoking with tremendous offense. They play great defense, and obviously their pitching has been very good, especially up front. Their relieving has struggled a little bit, but still a great ball club. Arizona, on the other hand, got the great pitching. Offensively, they're getting Matt Williams back. Manti came back 3 or 4 days ago. I don't see a weakness in the Arizona ball club. They've got a good bench. They're able to flip-flop with Durazo at first base and Colburn. They're playing Travis Lee in right field. He's hurt a little bit on the DL. But these ball clubs are very solid and able to really generate some offense.
Matt Williams hit by a pitch last night, not in the lineup today, but Jim Edmonds and Mark McGuire are for Tony La Russa. And Tony loves that left-right combination in the middle of his lineup.
Well, he's really the guy that innovated that, batting a left-hander, a right-hander, a left-hander. Langford batting behind McGuire. And what you see in this situation is a lot of guys getting good pitches to hit. Edmonds very selective as a hitter. McGuire selective. It's very difficult for a pitcher to go deep in the count without making a mistake when you have to face this kind of firepower.
Cardinals are first in the National League in runs, in home runs. Tony La Russa's club second to Colorado in batting average. The Cardinals hitting a healthy .287. They do miss Fernando Tatis. They've got Craig Paquette and youngster Placido Polanco helping out at third base. Today, it's Fernando Vina leading off. His on-base average is .431. Edgar Renteria, then Edmonds, McGuire, and Langford. They have gone back-to-back lots of times this year. Paquette's at third today. J.D. Drew in right. He's batting over .320. Mike Matheny, no errors behind the plate. And Garret Stephenson, a perfect 7-0 for St. Louis. A former Cardinal, Todd Stottlemyre, co-leading with Randy Johnson the National League in wins with 8.
He's pitched really well. You'll see, everyone knows that Todd Stottlemyre is a battler there. He's 8-2 with a little elevated earned run average, 4.63, a little more hits than innings pitched, 61 to 56 in the third. Still striking out quite a few people. He throws that fastball. His out pitch is the slider, so he must establish the fastball early. He throws a changeup. Actually, Greg Swindell taught him a little splitter that he's using as a changeup right now. He's one of the best battlers in all the game today.
That's the way Tony La Russa feels about his leadoff man, Fernando Vina, over from Milwaukee. The Cardinals have not had a bona fide leadoff man, maybe, since the days of Vince Coleman. They've got one now. First pitch of the game is a fastball right down the middle. Tim Tashida, the home plate umpire today. 112 degrees outside the ballpark today. The roof is closed. It's quite comfortable here in downtown Phoenix. Vina batting .326 overall. Stottlemyre misses away. This is one of those players who will spray the ball around the ballpark. It's big here in the gaps. .376, .413 in the deep gaps, .407 dead center with a 25-foot wall here at the Bank One ballpark. That slivers, ball goes foul, strike 2 on Vina.
Bobby, that's something we're going to keep an eye on today. In a ballpark with this many angles and this big, we're going to keep an eye on how the defense plays, the overshifts. Certainly when McGuire comes up, we're going to see how the Diamondbacks choose to play him. If they play him with the second baseman on third base side, we're going to keep a real good look on the infield and how their strategy is throughout the game on both ball clubs.
This third-year facility seats 49,003. They've had a couple of sellouts this year. They're close to it today, but it seems to a certain extent the novelty has worn off in Phoenix. They did not sell out opening night. They are expecting a big 4 days. The Cardinals are here for 4 through Thursday night. Here's the 1-2 to Vina. He gets jammed and fights it off.
Being very difficult to strike out, third in the National League with 14.5 at-bats per strikeout. So, very pesky hitter. Bobby talked about how Tony La Russa is so excited about having someone that can finally set the table and be really a prototypical leadoff man. He has a good eye, and he sees a lot of pitches.
And you see the brace he's wearing, the protector. Almost broke his second toe on his right foot last week. Lifting a ball to Finley for the first out. The Gold Glover has it. Diamondbacks are 8th in the league defensively.
Andy Fox there at third base, replacing Matty Williams, who was plunked on the wrist last night. Ward in right field for the injured Travis Lee. Everything else pretty much the same. Miller catching. They alternate Miller and Stinnett. Finley, what a great year he's having.
He has been unbelievable. He carried this ball club while Matt Williams missed 43 games. First pitch swinging, Renteria dumps one to center. Finley again. He's doing it all for Buck Showalter. 2 down. He might be a Gold Glove and an MVP this year.
Well, I've always felt that Steve Finley may not have the raw talent as far as speed, but I think he gets the best jump. Look, the ball's barely in the air, off the crack of the bat. There's no way to catch that ball unless you're going on the crack of the bat. He heard that kind of splintering sound, made the quick move, caught the ball easily.
A lot of people thought he was on the downhill slide after his year in San Diego in '98. Here's Stottlemyre to Jim Edmonds, riding a 6-game hitting streak. Fastball on the corner. Edmonds is third in the league at .378. Only Todd Helton and Vladimir Guerrero are hitting better. His 16 homers have him tied for the 4th spot. One thing he has done, he has struck out a lot. 58 in 164 at-bats, so better than a third of the time Edmonds has fanned this year.
And I think that's because he hitting in the 3-hole. When he gets 2 strikes, he does not choke up or give himself away.
Stottlemyre had him reaching. Fly ball, left center. Gonzalez and Finley. Steve Finley puts away all 3. And it's a low pitch first inning for Todd Stottlemyre. Diamondbacks coming right up. Baseball.
He's throwing the ball extremely well. His out pitch is his curveball. It's a 12-6 curveball, meaning that it breaks straight down. You see there, he's not overpowering with 58 hits and 58 innings pitch. He has given up 4 home runs. He has a fastball that he throws, a 4-seam fastball that rides up in the strike zone. Then he has the big hook. As we talked about, a lot of rotation that breaks straight down and then a straight changeup.
Line drive. Vina couldn't get there. Fernando Vina timed his leap perfectly. He's just not tall enough to grab those.
Well, here's the breaking ball for Garrett. A little bit of a hanger. It just doesn't break down there. Starts high, ends up bell high. Here's a nice effort from Vina. Not very tall out there, about 5'9". Just not quite able to elevate enough. Line drive base hit.
Tony Womack now has a 24-game hitting streak. 350 plus during that time. Jay Bell is next. And if Tony Womack keeps it going for another week, he'll be flirting with something a teammate of his did in terms of a hitting streak last year. Dwyer holding the runner. Womack has stolen 7 of 12 so far. A former base stealing champion. And a healthy lead. On the corner to Jay Bell.
And I think this is one reason Jay Bell has become a much more dangerous hitter. Early in his career, right field hitter, inside out of the ball, bunted a lot out of the 2-hole. Now he's got speed ahead of him, dead fastball hitter. And I think he realized that he was strong enough to hit the ball.
Cardinals lead the league in defense. Tony Womack hasn't moved yet on the step-offs of Garret Stephenson, delighting the big crowd here. They feel like their base runner is outfoxing the pitcher at the moment. Jay Bell, a career batting average of .269 into the season. His production the last couple of years has really been remarkable. Runner went, stopped, pitch out, and evens the count. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Defense for the St. Louis Cardinals. You see Paquette playing there at third base for the injured Fernando Tatis. Vina, just 1 error in 47 ball games. Raves from the Cardinal coaching staff. J.D. Drew in right field, Edmonds, Langford. Big Mac over at first.
1 ball, 1 strike. Reaching up for that pitch, Mike Matheny, the catcher, who has not made an error this year. Neither has his partner, Eli Marrero. And Matheny's been phenomenal, throwing out 61% of opposing base runners, 17 of 28.
Very strong, accurate arm with really quick feet to get rid of that ball, get himself in thorn position. Matt Matheny.
2-1. That one sent Womack back to the bag. Cardinals have turned 43 double plays this year. Running count, 2-1. Womack not going. Fastball tight. Ball 3. And a man standing on deck who's not having the monster year yet that he did for Buck last year. And Luis Gonzalez had a 30-game hitting streak in 1999, which is the Arizona club record.
I expect Tony Womack will run here on 3-1. Fastball count.
He's going. Good jump. Fly ball right field. Long way for J.D. Drew, and he gets there. J.D. Drew still learning how to play the game at the major league level. Great speed, great arm. He has not been able to show the St. Louis fans yet how many people he may someday throw out on those bases.
Yeah, he's got a great arm, and the report that I've gotten on him is that he short hops a lot of people. He doesn't get himself really set to throw, but talked about when he came up, comparison of Mickey Mantle being a switch hitter and power, and also they mentioned Roger Maris's throwing arm. You old-timers out there remember Roger Maris. He not only could hammer, he had a great throwing arm.
There's Gonzalez, high and tight for ball 1. Luis batting at .288. He has another left-handed batter hitting behind him. In fact, after Jay Bell, they go lefty, 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 Gonzalez, Durazo, and Finley, with Matt Williams out of the lineup today.
Well, that really makes you vulnerable to a left-handed pitcher from the bullpen. That's why, as we mentioned in our open, Tony La Russa and Jimmy Leland started the right-left, right-left. They may not have started, but they're the first people that I saw that used it almost any time, especially Jimmy Leland. He'd plug a left-handed bat always in a hole where, say, if Barry Bonds was not playing, he'd put a left-handed bat, hit him right there in that same spot to keep intact that right-left situation.
One 1-0 count. Womack, good lead. Holding. Ground ball, well placed. Base hit. Womack makes the turn, going to third. It's a corner situation for the Diamondbacks with 1 out.
This is what happens when you have your second baseman playing a double play situation right here. He cuts off the angle. This ball is actually hit right through there, but because he's playing so shallow, he's not able to get there. Look at that. He takes 5 steps because of the shallow play from double play, not able to cut that easy ground ball off.
Now Vignon, more of a traditional spot against a Rubio Durazo, who's a double play guy if you can get the ground ball. Young slugger, doesn't run that fast. Jacks went on a play to the left side, and he's been better lately. Last night, Matt Williams took a high, tight fastball off the hands.
Yeah, this pitch off of Woodard last night running in to Matty. Matty just getting back off the DL. Hammered him, and really sore. Anytime you get hit on the hands, it takes 2 or 3 days to get your grip back because all that blood goes down into your fingers.
He is okay. Could be available for pinch hitting duty later today. Matt 4 for 19 since coming back. He returned to the lineup last Tuesday. That's the same night that Matt Manti came back to the Arizona bullpen. 1 ball, 1 strike. Durazo looking for something else, and Stephenson got one to the outer half. Womack started the game for the Diamondbacks with a base hit. 1 out later, Luis Gonzalez bounced one through. But now a 1 ball, 2 strike count on Durazo, who broke in a big way last year. Little high and tight.
Durazo is pretty much a dead fastball hitter and also a fly ball hitter. You saw him flinch on that 74-mile-an-hour changeup. As we look at the Cardinals defense, everybody straight away. Big Mac actually holding on Gonzalez at first.
Locked him up and got him on the inside corner to Garret Stephenson. No way for the left-hander to extend it all right there.
Right here inside part of the plate. Very vulnerable for left-handed people right there. Freezes him up on the fastball inside. That's where you have to pitch in the big leagues. All you young pitchers out there, you have to take the fastball to the hitter on the inside part of the plate in order to make them vulnerable. They can't hit that ball. If they hit it, they're going to hit it foul.
Now the Diamondbacks' most dangerous batter, RBI leader Steve Finley, with 51 batted in. Stephenson, nice pitch to the outside corner. He's tied with Jason Giambi of the A's for second in all of baseball. Seattle's Edgar Martinez has a phenomenal RBI total of 55 right now. This is the man who carried this club with Matt Williams gone for a month and a half.
Being you're very deep on the grass to knock the ball down.
Diamondbacks losing to Milwaukee yesterday. That broke an 11-game home winning streak. They have been red hot here with a record of 19-6. They are 15 games over the 500 mark, leading the NL West. Finley having to go down and bounce one, so he's behind the count. 1-2. At the age of 35, Steve Finley playing better than he ever has before.
Well, we see that in a lot of players nowadays. The maturity, I guess you sign these long-term contracts, you're able to relax a little bit, but Sean Dunston was showing us his washboard stomach before the ball game.
Yes, he was.
Golly.
Little fly ball to right field. Drew broke back, comes in and grabs it. And the Diamondbacks are gone. They lead 2. Leading off at the top of the second, the power of Mark McGwire. Number 7 on the all-time list. He's hit 20 this year. Stottlemyre missing low and inside. Todd Stottlemyre was a teammate of Mark McGwire's in Oakland in 1995. Keeps it away with a breaking pitch, 2-0.
One thing to look for with Todd Stottlemyre is pitch count, and what we call pitch efficiency. He goes deep in counts, and he only gets 5 innings plus work. He's got to have 3 or 4 pitches per hitter in order to get deep in the game. He's not a guy that can throw 120 pitches. First inning, just 9 pitches, which is outstanding. An average big league pitcher will give you 15 to 16 pitches an inning.
2-1 to McGwire, way inside. Because of Stottlemyre's frayed rotator cuff that he chose not to have operated on, they've got a very close eye on him. He threw 100 pitches last Wednesday. First time he had reached that level in this season. He's 8-2, averaging 5 innings or so a start. Late breaking pitch into the strike zone. 3-2 on McGwire now.
That's that split finger that he's been working on that just has a little bit of downward movement, a little bit of tumbling rotation that he's starting to use as his changeup.
3-2 pitch. High and tight, and McGwire draws the leadoff walk. Todd Stottlemyre this year has walked 26, struck out 41 in his 57 innings. Now he'll face the left-handed bat that has suddenly come alive, Ray Lankford, against a very consistent pitcher. Stottlemyre just as good in May as he was in April. Ray Langford would like to forget about April. He was hitting about $180. Now he has a 6-game hitting streak, 10 for his last 20. 3 of those 10 hits have left the ballpark. So he's hitting a heavy .239. With those 10 home runs, 24 batted in. He said he wasn't seeing the ball well.
Well, I saw him. He wasn't giving himself enough time, Bobby. He was jumping at everything. Mike Easler was one of those guys that hit the ball, the hitting coach for the Cardinals, Mike Easler. One of those guys that drove the ball to left field. Talked to him today around batting practice, and he said Langford was the same type hitter. Hit the fastball the other way, pull the breaking ball. He just didn't give himself a chance because he was so antsy at the plate.
1-1 pitch. He loves the ball down and in. That one jammed him, and he fought it off the other way.
Outfield plays him to pull. Big gap in left center field. Pretty deep. First baseman back off the bag. Just giving McGuire second base if he wants it.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Langford. High drive, left center. Finley and Gonzalez chasing. Finley's got it 400 feet away. That's a home run in most major league ballparks, but not here where it's 413 to the deep gaps.
That ball was crushed. That 413, and he hit it about 405. But again, Finley playing him to pull, getting a great jump on this ball again. The ball just hit so high. Langford thinking he might have gotten this ball. Gonzalez actually there to help him a little bit right there on the warning track. There's another camera angle there. Both of those guys could have caught that ball, but right in the deepest part of the ballpark.
Craig Paquette takes one outside. Well, Langford just stroking the ball a whole lot better than he was a couple of weeks ago. That's a 25-foot high yellow line out there if you hit one beyond the 413 marks. That's a foul ball outside third. Paquette has been an able backup for Tatis. Batting .277. The other player the Cardinals use at third base and around the infield is young Placido Polanco, who's batting .370. But nobody has been able to replace the RBI total of Tatis, who was leading the National League in that department when he tore his groin muscle on the artificial turf of Philadelphia. And he may be out another month or so. He can't even jog, can't even run.
Sometimes you get those deep growing tears, and they just linger and linger and linger. Sometimes the only way you can really get them out of there is go in there and inject it. So that you get some medicine down in there in that deep tear. I had a couple of those in my career. They just tend to linger, especially as an infielder. When you make so many of those quick moves. I mean, right now, when you go to catch a ground ball.
Paquette fights off another. He's another former Oakland player. Greg Paquette, like Stottlemyre, like McGuire. This guy's got some good power. And he's been solid at third base. He made 2 errors the other night, but he's made only 3 all year.
It's not a bad pitch to run on right here, 1 and 2. You got to think that Stottlemyre is going to throw something soft.
Fastball off the plate.
Well, that's the way he pitches. Inside for the fastball to make everyone quicken their swing, and goes away with that new changeup and breaking ball. He's able to buy the outside part of that plate once he's established fastball in. They're not giving McGuire any respect. Have you seen this all year long with McGuire?
Yeah, a lot of guys don't hold him on. Got him that time. Paquette thought that was the same pitch as the one before, and Tim Sheeta punches him out.
Well, the other pitch was definitely inside. We're going to look at this pitch. Catcher sets up in there, and he just throws the ball right there. And what happens, he got a little sideways movement into the hitter. The ball over the plate to strike. It's not where you end up catching the ball. Nice pitch. Good location. We've seen both pitchers work on the inside part of the plate and be effective. And that's something that has just not continued to evolve as in the 70s and 80s and 60s when pitchers lived on the inside part of the plate.
J.D. Drew takes one over below. Tony La Russa has been very cautious in the way he's used J.D. this year, mainly against right-handers. And it's paid off for the skipper, as his young outfielder has a batting average of .324. In a lot of early home runs, 6 of them now. He's riding a 3-game hitting streak. Pretty much splits time in the outfield. Tried to pull that outside pitch. Durazo to the shortstop, Womack, and the Cardinals are gone in the top of the second. Salamander has not given up a hit yet, stranding 1 base runner. No score.
Enough about those guys that just went over there and sacrificed their lives to have the freedom that we have nowadays, and you know, I think the more that we can read about it and the more you can understand what happened, the more respect and appreciation we can give those guys for what they went and did for us.
Well said by Steve Finley on one of our great holidays in this country, Memorial Day. The first of 3 holidays that really go hand in hand with the Major League Baseball season. Because you have this holiday, each team playing its 50th game of the year. So each club is almost a third of the way into their season. Then you have the 4th of July just prior to the All-Star break. And then that little respite on Labor Day as the pennant races start to heat up and September rolls around. Turner Ward replacing the injured Travis Lee, who has a groin problem of his own in right field. This guy's been a very good, useful, serviceable ball player for a number of Major League clubs. Called him up from Tucson on Friday. He was hitting .354 in AAA. And I'm not sure he saw many inside corner pitches like that. Garret Stephenson gets his 2nd strikeout. Interesting Sports Center special tomorrow. A live presentation from Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana. Lloyd Firestone and Coach Digger Phelps interview Bob Knight in the only television interview he plans to give. Log on to ESPN.com, a part of the Go Network. Go.com. One of Bob Knight's closest friends in the professional ranks is Tony La Russa. Bob Knight was in St. Louis Saturday night and Sunday to watch 2 games of the Mets series. He regularly drives from Bloomington over to St. Louis on Saturday afternoons to watch a Saturday night game, a Sunday game, goes back home and spends time with his favorite Major League Baseball manager. Fastball on the corner as Stephenson is throwing well now. Strike 1 to Andy Fox.
I've got a Bob Knight story that I want to try to get in a little bit later.
One ball, 1 strike. Andy Fox playing in his 28th game of the year. Left-handed batting utility man who can move around to different spots on the infield. He can play the outfield if they need him to.
This right here, it doesn't hurt much with all that protection they have now. They almost look like they pour a cast around your head with those masks. A whole lot of really padded up there around the head.
1-2 pitch. Stephenson taking a little bit off that changeup, dropping it into the dirt. Mike Matheny's been a great find for the Cardinals because Eli Marrero hit .190 last year. So they really didn't consider Eli their #1 catcher. Right now he can relax and try to get his stroke back, and Matheny is the main man. And a fly ball to right field. Andy Fox got jammed on that pitch, and it's easy for J.D. Drew. Eli Marrero, a young man who at the start of the 1999 season has Pop Warner nearest you, one of the Cardinals' former farmhands who's now a batting practice guy. Eli Marrero fought thyroid cancer at the start of the 1999 season, so really the Cardinals feel he is just now getting back to 100% strength. Stephenson with a good-looking fastball that barely missed to Damian Miller.
Well, he's spotting the ball very well. 2 outs this inning. Ward a fastball inside part, and then Fox, he buried another fastball in there that Fox was short on. He comes right out against Miller with 2 fastballs away just off the paint.
Two balls, no strikes.
Going back to the strikeout pitch to Ward, look at this pitch. Sets up inside, and he just drills it right there. Ward freezes. Then he sets up again on the inside part of the plate right there. Gets the ball on the handle, pitching in very effectively. And you're talking about a guy that throws 87, 88 miles an hour. These men that throw 91, 92, 93, they want to live on the outside part of the plate. That's begging to be hit.
Well hit, one hopper. Backhand Renteria. And a 1-2-3 second for Garret Stephenson. Each pitcher looking great so far. No score in Phoenix. We are up in the catwalk at the Bank One ballpark looking in from right field. Beautiful ballpark here out in the desert. Retractable roof is closed today, making it about 30 degrees cooler inside here. Well, maybe 40 degrees. It is 112 out there. There's a look back in toward home plate. Look at that. 35 degrees cooler in here. It's a magnificent facility. Todd Stottlemyre works against Mike Matheny as the St. Louis third gets underway. First pitch swinging out of play. This place looks like a big plane hangar when you see it from outside. They could probably tow a couple of 747s in here and do some maintenance on it. It is unbelievably large when you see it in person. A dream of Jerry Colangelo that has come to fruition here in the desert. Well hit. Under the glove of Womack at short. And Matheny's got a base hit. Batting ahead of the pitcher here in the third inning.
He just gets a fastball right out over the plate. Matheny drives the ball 2 steps to the left of Womack. Womack taking a bad angle there, diving straight across. All you have to do is take 1 step, go back toward the outfield, create a little better angle. That creates more room for you, but he dove. I think he misread the speed of that ball. Now, bunt's in order here. Going to be very difficult to get Matheny down to second because he runs very poorly.
Stephenson has 4 sacrifice bunts on the year. You know, Womack took a glance at his glove.
Yeah, look at him there. See, he dove, and he acted as if he thought he was going to catch the ball right there. And he took the type of angle to that ball that looked like to me he thought he had it.
Garret Stephenson showed the Diamondbacks 2 or 3 different looks during that pitch. Tony La Russa is very aggressive with his pitchers. The Cardinal pitchers spend as much time in the batting cage as any other pitching staff in baseball. That was Jose Oquendo coaching at third. He will switch off and slug bunt and swing away quite often.
Yeah, this situation here, the first and third baseman charging, the shortstop will cover second and the first baseman first. Goes ahead and makes it.
Very good bunt. And Durazo with the tag.
When you can bunt like that, you don't have to worry about what kind of defense they put on you.
He deadened it beautifully. Garret Stephenson is 0 for 19 this year, but that was his 5th sacrifice bunt. So he gets a runner in scoring position. Top of the order now, Fernando Vina and Edgar Renteria. Garret Stephenson showing things to the National League that the Phillies never dreamed he could. They couldn't wait to get rid of him. More on that as the afternoon goes along. Top of the order, Vina flied to center his first time up. Stottlemyre throws him a nasty slider that catches the inside corner.
Arizona playing shallow in the outfield with Vina, with the slow Mike Matheny at second base. We will definitely have a play at the plate. Turner Ward with a good throwing arm. Finley, average throwing arm, but charges the ball as well as anyone. And Gonzalez always has been able to throw.
Vina, occasional power. One of his 3 home runs, an inside the park home run at Pac Bell Park in San Francisco. They were playing him like this. He hit a line drive to right center. It was not caught. Then it rattled around in their deep gap. That is not that different than the deep gap here in right center. And Vina came all the way around against the Giants. No score, top of the third. Man at second, 1 out, 1-1 to Vina. Gets jammed. Little indecision by the base runner Matheny on a good play by Womack. Vigne's out. Let's check in with Larry Beal.
All right, Bob. Angels and the Indians. 10th inning. Steve Carsey on the mound. Here it comes, and there it goes. Troy Gloss jumps all over the breaking ball. 16th homer of the year. It's a final. Angels win 3-2-10.
Anaheim thus tying Seattle for the moment atop the American League West. Seattle hosting the White Sox later. White Sox just got finished playing Cleveland over the weekend, and that Chicago club continues to play very well for Jerry Manuel. Renteria taking a big swing. He flied to center first time. I guess you could call this the odd stat of the day. Edgar Renteria, since Fernando Tatis left the lineup, his batting average has gone down 80 points. He's got a little flare down the right field line. It's trouble for the Diamondbacks. Fair ball. Scoring is Matheny, and St. Louis leads 1-0 on Renteria's 19th RBI of the year. The Cardinals are always trying to get him to hit the ball the other way. This time he does for an RBI.
Well, he came into the league being a natural right field hitter and an excellent number 2 man, but he's gotten his stroke a little longer. There, a nice breaking ball that he just flips out to right field, right in the right spot. Nothing that Turner Ward can do about it. Good pitch, but good handling of the bat there. And a guy like Edgar Renteria, hitting in the 2-hole, all he's there for is to get on base and advance those runners for these big 3-hole or 4-hole hitters.
Here comes Edmonds. Stottlemyre with a strike in the outside corner. So the Cardinals getting their first 2 base hits of the game, scoring a run here in the top of the 3rd. Edmonds flied to Finley first time up. Wire on deck if he continues this inning. Runner going. Was it a strike? Throw is right there in time. Damian Miller gutting out Edgar Renteria, who looked like he had second base stolen. Miller now 6 of 18 on the year, gutting out opposing base runners. From up top, close play.
We're going to look at the two angles here. Renteria still in second. Here it looks like he's out. The ball looks like it beats him. But look at this angle, straight over top. Here comes the ball, bang. It looks like to me he tagged him right behind the knee. His leg's already starting to flex. Too close to go out there and argue, but we have the luxury of these great cameras in slow motion. Oh, bang, bang. Looked like he had it in there to me.
Now, Damian Miller.
One thing for sure, he threw a seed down there, didn't he?
That was a bullet. And it looked like Renteria had a pretty good jump. Two balls and a strike. Todd Stottlemyre has always fancied himself a good hitter. He has a .216 career batting average. 5 out of 20 this year. He loves to hack. There goes the bat. He was very well known in St. Louis for bat tossing. He used to lose it about half the time.
That might be an all-time record right there.
That's a long one.
That's what happens when you try to pull an away pitch. That top hand gets over on top of you and pinches down on that bottom hand, and you let go. I know Dylan Murphy was the guy that did more than anybody that during the era that I played in.
Well, Stottlemyre is an all-out aggressive guy. He leaves nothing in the bag. Pitching or hitting or base running for that matter. 2-2 from Stephenson. A little bit outside. Todd Stottlemyre, after choosing not to have the rotator cuff operated on, endures a 3-hour weight room workout regimen every day except when he's pitching. Now today, after he pitches, no matter how long he goes, he will go back to the clubhouse and do a lot of flexibility. Not much weight, but he'll be back in the weight room tomorrow. And that's how he's able to pitch with what most guys would have had an injury where it would have had to have been operated on. This ball is slicing out of play into the left field corner.
Well, all that work does having a rotator cuff. Go ahead, Bob.
7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. Tigers Rangers. Juan Gonzalez against his old teammates. And then on ESPN2, the third of our triple header, the Mets and the Dodgers. The Mets just swept the Cardinals 3. They swept the Diamondbacks 3 recently. Todd Stottlemyre flying out to Ray Lankford starting the bottom of the third. Let's check in again with Larry Beal.
All right, Bob, the Astros and the Rockies. Octavio Dotel on the mound. Todd Helton cannot make an out these days, hitting .415, which is the best in the majors, and that is his 16th homer of the season. Tied the game at 1 apiece, but with the bases loaded, it's Richard Hidalgo down the line. It'll score 2 runs as they go back and forth in this game. Now 4-2, Astros.
Yeah, Larry Beal, we feel pretty safe in assuming that one of those teams will have double figures today. Houston, the way they're hitting, and Colorado in their own ballpark. The Rockies lead the National League with a team batting average of .295. Not Stottlemyre. I guarantee you he's mad at himself for making an out. That's just the way he approaches this game. We'll get back to work. He's given up a run on 2 hits through 3 innings of work. Tony Womack extended his hitting streak to 24 games with a first-inning single. He was shooting left field that time and fouled it off.
Cardinal defense. Edmonds playing very shallow in center field. That's the shallowest I've seen him play. And McKenna at third base. 4 or 5 steps in front of the bag. Big Mac even with the bag at first.
High heat. Womack, did he go? No, says Steve Ripley down at third. One thing that we didn't point out, Ray, because the inning ended so fast in the second about Garret Stephenson, he is working much faster than I've ever seen him in his major league career. He's got confidence. He gets the ball back. He's ready to go to work. Here's McGuire. He's got room. 2 down right in front of his teammates.
Well, that tells me he has an idea of what he wants to do. He's not out there on the mound trying to figure out what his next pitch is going to be. He's got a real strong idea of what his pitch sequence is, what his best pitch is on that particular day. You know what? The Cardinals are the best defensive team in the National League, so why not get the ball and throw it? Make your defense work, keep them on their toes. That formula works out for a lot of pitchers.
Garret Stephenson started his career in the Baltimore organization. Faces Jay Bell here. He made his National League debut on May 13th of '97 in Philadelphia against St. Louis. He struck out 12 batters in that game. Good pitch to Bell. No balls, 2 strikes. That was the most by a pitcher in his first major league start since the great J.R. Richard at fan 15 back in 1971. Jay Bell checks one down the left field corner. Is it fair? It is a foul ball.
We started him off with a curveball for a strike, came back in with a fastball for a strike inside corner, then threw a pitch just a little bit too fat on the inside part of the plate. He wants to get it in, but look at this ball. It's out over the plate a little bit, but still far enough inside that Jay Bell has to pull it foul.
1 ball and 2 strikes now. Yeah, that was an 0-2 fastball that almost left the yard. Target away, fastball up and away, and Jay Bell fouls it to the right side.
Catcher goes inside, this ball is hammered, and it just, because of the hook and the inside location of the pitch, the bat barrel getting out in front of that strike zone at such an angle to hit it foul.
Now another foul by Bell. So because of that strikeout performance, Garret Stephenson had a little bit of a history with the Cardinals before he became a St. Louis player. Ironically, he suffered a bad foot injury when the Cardinals' Willie McGee stepped on his foot on a close play at first base. He felt the Phillies made him come back too quickly from that injury, and then he hurt his arm. He pops up Jay Bell. On the infield, Paquette. He will yield to Renteria. And a 1-2-3. That's 8 in a row for Stephenson. Mark McGuire leads off in the 4th. Diamondbacks, nothing, top of the 4th. Jim Edmonds was at the plate when Edgar Renteria was gunned out stealing. So it is Edmonds leading off the 4th. McGuire and Lankford to follow. Jim Edmonds a fly ball to center first time. Now Stottlemyre turns one over, misses low and away. He's in the low 40s in his pitch count. Jim Edmonds' next RBI will be number 40. And a 2-0 pitch with an outside target. That's low, 3-0.
Jim Edmonds sets up so nicely at the plate. Very soft movement. His shoulder turns toward the shortstop. He's got a spread stance, hands held high. Very quiet hitter.
Stottlemyre misses on 4 in a row. Has to pitch to McGuire with a man at first base. Ray Knight, if you were the manager of the Diamondbacks, how would you attack Mark McGuire?
Well, that's the strike zone right there. And what you have to do with Mark McGuire is keep the fastball on the inside part of the plate here, pounding him, preferably up here high. Then when you get ahead of him there, you go breaking balls away, off the plate, down, and try to throw the changeup down here in the bottom to get him to chase. Anything in this part of the plate up here, out and away from him, he is going to annihilate.
Fly ball right field. Going back, Turner one. Looks like he's got it in front of the track. McGuire got it off the end of the bat. Still had that ball carry about 340 or 50 feet. That's the first out here in the fourth.
Well, that's right in that area that he's vulnerable. That ball is down and away. Mac just barely missing it, and that shows you how much the degree is so small there. If that ball's another inch or two on the plate, that ball's out of here. But he got it down and away in that zone that he is vulnerable. I'm surprised to see him swing at that pitch, first pitch, so seldom does he go out of his zone to chase other people's pitches.
Here's Langford, who fly deep to left center his first time. Jim Edmonds is a good base runner. He has stolen 4 out of 5 this year. Stottlemyre often takes a while to get moving toward the plate. A lot of hitting room over on that side with Durazo holding Edmonds.
One thing that Todd does, like a lot of veteran pitchers, is that he doesn't take directives from the catcher. He steps off, he holds the runner, he'll throw over. Every once in a while, he'll actually just hold the ball, trying to make the runner impatient. A manager or a pitching coach has generally 5 directives. They are: you step off, you slide step, you throw over, you hold it, or your regular delivery home.
Fastball well upstairs to Ray Langford. There's Dave McKay with his stopwatch. He's an ex-catcher, longtime Tony La Russa coach. He will sit there at the first base coach's box and time the pitcher to home plate and on his pickoff move. He'll update it pitch by pitch with his base runners.
And what you're looking for there is a delivery to home plate in excess of 1.4. Most catchers can get the ball to second base in 2 flat. Runners, good runners, can get down to second in 3-4 with a good lead from first. So anything over 1-4 from the pitcher's release to the catcher's mitt, you've got a chance to steal on.
Good tailing fastball low and away. Langford couldn't reach it.
This is really a nice 2-seam fastball. He starts over the inside part and runs it out away from Ray Langford. And there, I can tell Langford pull conscious. Normally, his approach to that ball is to left center field. There's still a little antsy there.
Stottlemyre gave Edmonds his good pickoff move that time. Travis Katzenmeyer, rookie umpire over there. Ray Gibson, Steve Ripley around the bases. Tim Sheeta working the plate. Sheeta, a longtime American League umpire. 2 balls, 1 strike. Stottlemyre again.
A lot of times base runners will get what you call a one-way lead. You'll get a big lead off of first base with no intentions to steal, just to test the best move of the pitcher. That looks like to me what Edmonds is doing. Continuing to inch out there a little farther and a little farther. Eventually he's going to have to dive back.
2-1 pitch. Fastball up and away. Stottlemyre's already walked 2 today. Struck out 1. Buck Showalter watched him battle his way here on Wednesday night through 7 innings. When he walked 2, struck out 1, through 104 pitches. Todd Stottlemyre went to 3 balls and 2 strikes that game only 1 time. He is a pitcher known for going to a lot of long counts. 3-1, runner holding, ball 4.
And this is what we talked about a little bit in the open when you have right, left, batting situation is having to concentrate over a long period of time to good hitters that can cause damage. Certainly Langford's capable of hitting 30 home runs, as is McGuire and Edmonds. So you're very careful with those guys, and you throw a lot of pitches, you try to be fine, and all of a sudden you start building innings by walking people.
Now back to the right-handed side for Craig Paquette. 2 on, 1 out. St. Louis looking to add to its 1-0 lead. They meet the Diamondbacks for the first time this year. These clubs split 8 games last year, each going 2-2 in the other's ballpark.
Second baseman really close there. Jay Bell holding the runner on. A huge hole between first and second. He eases back just a step, but unusually close to second. Maybe that's the reason they had a little trick play on there. But as I look out there, he's only about 3 good steps. He should be another step or 2 to his left, camera right.
1-1 pitch. Paquette with a foul tip.
Right here, let's look right here at where Jay Bell sets up. He actually, double play depth should be right here in this situation here, and actually 1 step deeper. He is so shallow in here. Look at all of this area right here to right field. Now, I don't know why he's playing that close to second base, because generally he should be right about there and a step deeper. He does move back over there on the pitch, but he's never really set.
Stottlemyre missing low and away. Another long count for Todd. He's up into the 50s at 53 in his pitch count here in the 4th inning. He has walked a couple. Retired McGuire on a fly ball. And a 2-2 to Paquette. Way high, 3-2 again.
And you're going to see right here, probably, as you look at the line on Todd Stottlemyre, the 3 base on balls, 2 of them this inning, 54 pitches, you're probably going to see LaRussa start the runners here 3-2.
Edmonds and Langford, both speedy runners. They were holding on that play. It's a pop-up for Durazo. It's an infield fly anyway. And the second out. Paquette got jammed on that pitch on the long count. Now it'll be up to J.D. Drew as they go back to the left-handed side now.
With good contact hitters, Bobby, it's great to send your runners 3-1 because you have the second baseman generally covering second for the trail runner, the third baseman breaking to cover third, and you have a big hole over there. And if he's a contact hitter that hits a ground ball through the left side, you end up scoring a run with runners on third and first. But LaRussa, knowing more than me, certainly knowing his personnel, chooses not to send the runners.
Ball 1 to J.D. Drew, bounced to the first base side, his first time out. Interesting number on J.D. Drew. He is second on the team in infield base hits to Fernando Vina. He has very good speed. This kid can hit the ball a long, long way. His first major league home run, the night after Mark McGuire hit number 62 in September of '98. Went 440 feet into the right center field stands in Cincinnati. J.D. Drew told me later that year it was really neat for him to come up to the big club in September and get to see everything McGuire did. Sort of gave him a vision for some of the great things baseball players can be capable of. Maybe some things he could think about later on in his career. Right now, of course, Ray, as most young players, he's just trying to survive.
Yeah, when I came up in the Reds organization with Tony Perez and Johnny Bench and Joe Morgan and Pete Rose, I learned how to play the game just by watching those people play. I spent the year on the bench in '77, '78, backing up Pete Rose, not getting a lot of the bats, but just to see the way that they go about their business.
Paul Stoudemire trying to end this inning. He's got Drew 1 and 2. He walked Edmonds leading off with 1 out. Walked Langford. Got Paquette on a pop-up. And now a 1-2 to Drew. Well off the plate, ball 2. J.D. Drew splitting time with Eric Davis this year. Talk about some of the grand old men of the game. Cardinals have Eric Davis and Sean Dunston in that dugout. Veteran Thomas Howard. There's Sean. Ball 3. This will give Tony La Russa a chance to move his base runners.
And those men you just saw there, Davis and Dunston, as La Russa's going to start the merry-go-round here. One of the reasons why I think this Cardinal ball club is the best club they've assembled since '87, that great bench strength.
3-2 pitch. Drew strikes out. And Stoudemire pulling the string on him. Gets his second K of the day. Cardinals strand 2. Veterans, my partner retired. He shouldn't have retired. He was only 34. How come you quit? Look at all these other guys.
I had a family, man. They were tired of me being gone.
Oh, they are keeping themselves in great shape these days. The workout regimens, we talked about Stoudemire. Randy Johnson works out. He's been trying to protect his back for a number of years. Steve Finley's 35 years of age, says he feels better than he ever has in his major league career. Here's another guy, Luis Gonzalez. He's bounced around a bit. Houston, Cubs, back to Houston, to the Tigers, and then to the Diamondbacks last year, where he just had a wonderful season. Went to his first All-Star game, hit almost 340, 26 homers, 111 RBIs. Base hit. Luis Gonzalez is 2 for 2. How important is it to have veteran leadership on a ball club that has postseason aspirations?
You know, when you have guys that have been around for a while and guys that have been to the World Series, guys that have been in the playoffs and been on winning teams, you know, it kind of rubs off on everybody else.
Fortunately, you have a lot of guys with 10 years of Major League service or more. And one of the things that really makes that special is the fact that we played with guys that played in the 70s era and the early 80s. And you know, to me, that was the greatest era of all time.
So we go from one of the great veterans to one of the young guys, Rubiel Durazo, out of Mexico. An unknown player in the batter's box a year ago at this time. We know all about Steve Finley, who has been an MVP for the D-backs so far. Durazo, a 4-game hitting streak after he had been 5 for his previous 34. Here's a young man who came out of Mexico. Nobody knew about him. His mother sent him to junior college in Arizona so he could learn English. And the Diamondbacks sort of found a diamond in the rough, so to speak, that nobody else was even aware of. He just tore it up at AA and AAA. They had no choice but to call him up last year. It's a young guy who made them bring him to the major leagues.
Yeah, and all you heard from the Diamondbacks is Travis Lee, because he was the guy that they had drafted early. And this young man forced Travis Lee to right field. That's how much they think of Durazo.
0-2. Durazo struck out first time up. They're going to jam him again here. It's a little high. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, he is a dead fastball hitter. He likes the ball down. He can hit the ball out all over the field. He takes one of those hacks like Jeremy Burnett's. Just doesn't leave anything there. And when he hits the ball, it just flies off of his bat.
1-2. They're going to go away. Thus, they had him reaching. To finish the story on Garret Stephenson last year, or the year before, when Willie McGee stepped on his foot at first base and injured him, then he hurt his arm compensating for the bad foot. He thought the Phillies rushed him back. He filed a grievance with the Players Association. The Phillies couldn't wait to unload him. The Cardinals picked him up. And all he has done as a St. Louis pitcher has gone 13-3 since coming over here last year. This year, he has the Major League's second-best run support to the Astros starter, Scott Ellerton. And he had wasted some big leads until one of the Cardinal veterans got in his face a bit several weeks ago. 2-2 pitch, changeup, and he had the batter completely mesmerized. His third strikeout of the day. Well, we talked about the hot and cold zones of Mark McGwire. Ray Knight, how about Finley?
Steve Finley's a dead fastball hitter, pulls the ball extremely well, but you have to start him off with fastballs running away down in here, hard sliders here, and then fastballs through the zone right in here. Anywhere in any of this area right here, he's going to drill you.
1 on, 1 out. Finley flied to right first time out.
There's the fastball away, but he got it up. Seems like everybody knows how to pitch Steve Finley, but it's always that question of being able to do it.
Yeah, you still have to execute. It's like Matheny wants it inside here. He got it out over the plate, but it was elevated enough. Finley couldn't get over the top of it.
He doesn't like the ball up. He doesn't handle the ball up. That ball middle in and up, he has a tough time driving that ball. He likes the ball about belt high down to his knees. Middle in. Can handle the ball up if it's out over the plate. We'll chase a lot of those sliders as we showed on that graphic there, down and in. Right there.
And a little pop-up behind second. Stephenson making some great pitches here, and that's 2 down.
Well, here's the zone we talked about right in here, and this is right where that pitch is going to be. It's going to be a breaking ball that comes right into that zone. Watch him. He sets up. He starts with the breaking ball. There it goes down in the zone a little bit. He has problems with that off-speed breaking ball and pops him up. Pretty good scout report. What you say, buddy?
Nicely done, boys. Looks easy up here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
2 outs, and Turner Ward the batter. Garret Stephenson does not have a big lead to work with today. It's 1-0. He and Todd Stottlemyre are hooking up beautifully here in the 4th inning. Garret Stephenson early this year, especially in April when the Cardinals were just mashing everybody. He had some big leads to work with. He kept giving away some of those leads, and finally, one of the veterans on this club came to him and said, "Hey, man, we're doing the job for you." McGwire and Edmonds and all those guys were doing so much hitting. And it was Eric Davis who got in his face and said, "We did our job, you do yours." It had an effect, and he's getting the job done today. He retires 3 in a row after the Gonzalez base hit. 1-0 St. Louis. Top of the 5th inning. Welcome back to the Bank One Ballpark. ESPN Major League Baseball on your Memorial Day. With Ray Knight, Bob Carpenter, Bank One Ballpark, 1-0 St. Louis. Last time this situation arose, St. Louis scored its only run with Matheny leading off the 3rd with a base hit. Garret Stephenson sacrificed him to second, and with 2 outs, he scored on an Edgar Renteria base hit. Mike Matheny lives right outside St. Louis in a town called Weldon Spring, so it was a trade that he really welcomed when he came home from Milwaukee to St. Louis, with a stop in Toronto in between. Toronto has been one of Todd Stottlemyre's stops, where he started his big league career back in '88. It'll be Matheny, Stephenson, and Vigna for the Cardinals in the 5th. And a line drive right at Jay Bell. 1 out in the 5th. Larry Beal, what's going on now?
Hey, Bob, you're talking about pitchers getting it done. 4th inning, Greg Maddux in a jam. Bases loaded, 1 out. 1, 2, 3. Jose Nieves hits into the threat-killing double play. Still scoreless in Chicago, Braves and Cubs.
Now talking about National League pitchers who've got wins. Greg Maddux not up there with teammate Tom Glavine and company yet, Stottlemyre and Randy Johnson, but you know by the end of the season he will have his share. And of course you just saw why he's the perennial Gold Glove winner at the pitcher position. Garret Stephenson quickly 0-2.
Here's a comparison: 4 innings, 4 1/3 for Stottlemyre there. Very close. Stottlemyre a little wild with the 3 base on balls. Stevenson almost flawless across there.
And a nasty breaking ball strikes out his counterpart. Isling strikeout. Todd's only 1-2-3 inning was the first. Big crowd on a sizzling Memorial Day in Phoenix, Arizona. At game time, 112 degrees outside. Good day for a dip. Those who can pay the money can drop in any time out there in right center field. Ray Knight and I have our post-game reservations made for the low diving court. Our crew would like to see us dive from up there, though, Ray. Isn't that something? A little hot tub on the right. 1-0 to Vigna. Shows bunt, gets the infield moving around, takes a strike. Fernando Vigna leads the Cardinals with infield hits. He has 9 of them this year. He's adept at stepping into pitches on the inner half, shall we say. I guess he's the left-handed counterpart to Craig Biggio in the National League. He really gets jammed there. Jay Bell throws him out. Stottlemyre, another 1-2-3. We are halfway through the game in Phoenix. It's all pitchers so far. Plans. I'm going to the pool. This is where Ray Knight's going after the game.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I want one of them great ones. They go great snow cone.
That's a 2-story snow cone there.
Be eating on that a while unless we go outside.
That won't last long.
That's too long out there.
We're going bottom 5, having a good time at the Bank One Ballpark on Memorial Day. A lot of young fans in the stands today. Maybe they don't yet realize the significance of this day, but in approximately 30 minutes they will. Around Major League ballparks on this wonderful holiday, play will be stopped, and at every ballpark at 3 o'clock local time, tribute will be paid to those who've gone before us to defend our freedom. And that will happen here in just under a half hour. We've heard Steve Finley speak of it eloquently. Jay Bell had a father in the service. There's a pop-up by Andy Fox to Edgar Renteria. Cardinal pitching coach Dave Duncan told me he was the best truck driver in the history of the Marine Reserves, serving with the likes of Rick Monday and Joe Rudy and Bob Watson. There have been a lot of major leaguers involved in our services over the years. And of course, none as much as there were back in World War II and then the Korean conflict. More on that later. Damian Miller grounded a short first time up. Garret Stephenson, there's that 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock breaking ball you were talking about. Right down the face.
Hasn't used it a lot today, nor has Stottlemyre used his slider much. He started using a little bit more last inning, but that's the right place to do it. After you throw that slow looping curveball, and you come right back and establish inside with your best fastball.
And he goes away and punches him out. Perfect location by Stephenson, who's not really a strikeout pitcher. That's his 4th in almost 5 innings of work today.
Well, that's a clinic there. You throw the curveball, and then you throw the fastball in. It leaves your bowling ball away. He didn't even offer there. You see the little flinch right there, the little flinch with his hips after thinking about that fastball inside. So if you don't think throwing inside plants a thought to hitters, you got another thing coming. Guarantee you it makes them aware.
Todd Stottlemyre flew out first time up. The only ground ball out, Damian Miller's 6-3 that ended the second inning. As our graphic indicated, everything else in the air or getting nothing but air. There's a fastball on the outside corner, 1-1. Garret Stephenson in his last start became the first Cardinal pitcher in 2000 to pitch a complete game. the bat again, and a looping fly ball foul.
Well, I really like the way Garret is getting the ball and throwing it. You alluded to that fact earlier, but he's getting the ball right back from the catcher, Matheny, getting prepared and throwing it. That, to me, just shows confidence. Shows a man that has a game plan, is stuck with it.
And you've got the best defense in the league behind you as well.
Right. When a man starts walking around the mound, taking a lot of time, is generally because he's not certain with his stuff. He's not confident in his stuff.
Well, that's the Cardinal infield. McGuire, Vigna, Renteria, Paquette. 1-2 pitch. He throws the breaking ball down low. You've got one of the greatest center fielders in the game on this club. Jim Edmonds has already given Cardinal fans a bunch of highlight reel plays.
Him shading, he and Langford shading hard to left field. Rank, we call it rank pull or rank shade when you really overplay. That's R-A-N-K, rank. Look how close to the left field line Langford's playing. And just behind Renteria is Edmonds.
He throws a strike, and Stottlemyre hangs tough. These are two solid ball clubs. Cardinals #1 in defense, runs, and homers. Diamondbacks #1 in team ERA, even better than Atlanta. The only team in baseball lower, Boston. Got him. Stottlemyre thought he walked. And Stephenson, his 5th strikeout. Top of the 6th coming up. Renteria, Edmonds, and then McGuire for St. Louis. Now, Mark McGuire, gone 5 or 6 days now without a home run. He is due any time. He put on his usual Bank One Ballpark batting practice show. Hey, watch this, folks. We're going to talk a little hang time. Hey, Ray, how long is this one going to be up there?
Looks like about 6 seconds. And that's because it hit up there about 40 feet above the...
Now, see that Miller Lite sign out there? During batting practice 2 years ago, those are panels that swivel and open in the afternoon before they close the roof. He hit a ball in batting practice 2 years ago, the first time he ever came here, that hit right above that banner, took one bounce, and went right out of the ballpark onto Jefferson Street. I don't think we'll ever see one out there. But how about that hang time? What players come to mind that you were around that remind you of that sort of height and that hang time?
Well, Dave Kingman hit him higher than anybody. I mean, he'd hit balls that would just disappear, and you hear this loud crack, and the ball would go straight up and end up carrying out of the ballpark. Willie Stargell also hit the ball extremely high, as did Reggie Jackson.
Willie McCovey.
McCovey hit those high, long fly balls. I think Dave Kingman, of all the guys that I played against, probably hit the ball the highest. And he swung straight up.
A few Ks on his resume as well. Here's Renteria leading off in the St. Louis 6th. Edgar Renteria, the only RBI of the day, an opposite field, the fly ball that fell near the right field line back in the 3rd, driving in Matheny. Inside corner.
Stottlemyre going through the breaking ball last inning, threw 7 breaking balls last inning. Prior to that, he had thrown a total of 5 the whole game. Now, this at bat, 2 breaking balls in a row, now coming in with a fastball.
Now Renteria's bat flies into the stands, right over the Arizona dugout. And that gentleman picked up his daughter, got out of the way, and the usher says everybody's safe. Nice job, Dad. Edgar's going to let him keep the bat, of course. Go over and pick out a new one.
Yeah, generally, you'll go over and pick out the worst bat you have, then take it up there and exchange it. Especially if that's a good gamer. You don't want to part with those, but it looks like Edgar's going to just...
Well, he didn't stop at the on-deck circle to put any pine tar on it. It looks like he may go ahead and use it.
Well, that was like losing a member of your family if you lost one of your favorite bats.
1-2 strikes. Renteria foul outside third. Harold Reynolds on our ESPN Wednesday telecast from here last week talking about how he thinks the bats are better than they were a couple of years ago. You were telling me about some bats you got to use on a trip to Japan one year that you were not allowed to bring back.
No, we weren't. They were all compressed, and I used one bat the whole 30-day tour over there. Never broke it, never had a mark on it. It was so hard. The bats that we have here, especially Louisville bats, the ones I'm most familiar with, are kennel dry. They're cut off in like 4x4 squares and dried, and then they're turned. And a lot of them, because of the fast drying process, began to chip, especially in the late 70s, early 80s. And the resilience of the bat was definitely less, because you would hit a ball and it would actually leave the seam of the bat on the ball. There's the exchange for the bat.
Yep, Edgar did want it back. 2-2 now to Renteria. Todd Stottlemyre jams him severely, and he couldn't hit it fair. Todd approaching 80 now.
There you go, 47 strikes, 31 balls. Pretty economical 78, though not really under stress. By that I mean not a lot of runners in scoring position, not a lot of pitches out of the stretch.
The slider fouled back. One thing Todd was talking about his approach on the mound. He is such an all-out competitor. This rotator cuff injury he has had has taught him to stay within himself, be mechanically sound, and try not to reach back, because he says at any time I could blow it out and be done. What a day he's having. Strikeout number 4. Again, here's Larry Beal.
All right, well, Braves and Cubs, who says the ball is juiced? John Lieber on the mound, working on a no-hitter through 6 innings. Strikes out Tildy O'Veras there, but the big cat, Andres Galarraga, has just gone deep. Goodbye no-no, goodbye shutout. Braves with a 1-0 lead. Maddox and Lieber going at it.
Well, a rare Wrigley Field pitcher's duel with warm weather in Chicago. Here's Jim Edmonds with 1 out and 6. McGuire on deck. A 1-run game. Stottlemyre has retired Edmonds on a fly ball and walked him.
Bob, as I went through my major league career and then coached and managed, and as I continue to be more and more educated about baseball, I mean, it's been my life. You study pitching and how they go about doing it, and I think the biggest change, everybody talks about strike zones, but I think the change is that people now try to overthrow, and then they try to trick people. And when I came along, it was a matter of being a control-type pitcher, getting the ball to spots, taking a little off, adding a little on. Not everybody threw 95 miles an hour, but throw the ball to the part of the plate that a hitter is vulnerable. Edmonds right there, slider down and in. You see your great pitchers like Pedro Martinez. He's a guy that throws hard. I mean, you've seen him a lot. But he throws the location. And location is the key. It's not how hard you throw or how big your breaking ball is. It's location. I just don't see the control-type pitchers today that I saw early in my career and even before that.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Stottlemyre with a high fastball. It is one big ballpark. Ball carries well in here when the roof is closed. They seldom play with it open. It's just too hot. 2-2 pitch. High heat. He walked Edmonds ahead of McGuire last time. Will Stottlemyre do it again?
Well, I don't think he'll throw him a fastball here. It's 3-2. I think he's probably going to throw him a changeup or a slider. I don't believe he's going to throw him a fastball.
Well, he did, but he kept it well away from Edmonds.
Perfect pitch. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. When you hear pitching coaches say, hey, let's go, make a pitch. Make a pitch right here. That's making a pitch, and that's a great hitter spoiling that pitch. But he made a pitch to the outside part of the plate down, and all Edmonds could do was just flick at it and foul it off.
Todd Stottlemyre, about 4 or 5 pitches ago, he let go of a breaking ball that hit in the dirt way out in front of Damian Miller. We saw him grimace at that point. Whether this has something to do with that, we don't know, but obviously something is not right. Here's one pitcher who will try to talk his way into staying. He never wants to come out. And this is when the manager, Ray, you've been in the situation, you got to go out there and tell your guy, hey, be honest with me.
They won't be, though. I mean, they will not be honest with you. A guy like Todd Stottlemyre, that's why Buck is still out there. And these guys walk through fire as we look at the pitch that bounced.
Right there, his reaction just didn't look right. He's going to stay for the moment and throw a few pitches while they observe.
It must be something with the lower part of his body, because if it's a blister or his arm, then he would be gone right now. He'd be out of there. And now he's trying to argue with it.
I think he was asking if they could throw one more pitch. They're going to make the move. Todd's not happy about it. This is where a manager is thinking about the entire season, Ray, as well as a guy's career.
Well, you have to, and I applaud Buck for doing that. It's sometimes hard to override these guys that are hosses out there. Todd Stottlemyre certainly one of those guys that you admire him. I mean, he brings so much to the table, and he wants to be in that ball game. But I believe he's tweaked something in his lower extremity there, because he would not be saying, wait a minute, if it was a shoulder or a blister. That's just pure speculation, but nobody's looked at his arm or looked at his hand.
Russ Springer will take over here in the 6th inning. Tony La Russa, Todd Stottlemyre helped pitch him into the playoffs in 1996. For the 6th inning at the Bank One ballpark, Todd Stottlemyre out of the game after 5 1/3. He could be charged with a 4th walk because he left Edmonds at 3-2 for Russ Springer. And a long at bat for Jim Edmonds.
Yeah.
High drops. He's got a big man, Mark McGuire, on deck right behind him. Todd Stottlemyre only gave 2 hits in his 5 1/3. And veteran right-hander, 31-year-old Russ Springer, who's been with the Yankees, the Angels, the Phillies, the Astros, the Diamondbacks twice, and Atlanta, takes over here.
Yeah, last year with Atlanta, primarily their setup man averaged more than 1 strikeout per 9 innings. He's got a nice sinker 3/4 delivery, slider, curveball, straight change. There he's still almost 1 strikeout per inning pitch, 15 and 18 in 2/3 innings. Give him all the time he needs. He drops down a little bit on occasion. Always around the plate. Just wonder what a guy thinks here coming in against one of the hottest hitters in the game, with the most dangerous hitter on deck, right out of the bullpen with no warning as Stottlemyre was cruising along.
Well, relief pitchers are baseball's version of Hollywood daredevils. There are no doubles. There are no stuntmen. They have to do it themselves, and often it's very dangerous. Just about a full house, 49,000 or so today. Their club is one of the best in baseball at home with a record of 19-6, winning 11 of their last 12 home games. A paid crowd of 47,014 today. Jim Edmonds stepping in as Springer inherits the 3-2 count.
Fastball away.
Edmonds lifts it to center. Finley. Plenty of time, 2 down.
That's what I'm talking about right there. So much talk about the pitching staff being diluted. Look at the location picture of this pitch. Fastball right where he has his glove. Hits it into the bat. Takes the sting off of it. That's just location. That's making a pitch. The pitchers can make those pitches. We look at this shift out here. 3 infielders on the left side of the infield.
Breaking ball low and away to McGuire.
That's pretty ranked there. Although you got your outfield straight away. On the corner. Slight pull over the outfield just because Finley has to pick one side of second base or the other to not be behind the pitcher. Chooses the pull side.
1 ball, 1 strike to McGuire. He takes it low. Ball 2. Well, Mark, when he hits the ball in the air, it can go out anywhere.
Yeah, hey.
At this stage of his
That's
career,
right.
he doesn't hit as many balls to right center as, say, a Mike Piazza does, but he is capable of hitting it out anyway. So you really can't play him to pull dramatically in the outfield. Houston used to send Craig Biggio out to play left center and totally vacate second base. Pitch up, and McGuire was pumping, and Biggio would come back in and play second base. He talked about that high heat.
Yeah, that spot right there, Mac just has never been really able to get up on that ball. Look at it right there. He has a good swing at it, follows it straight back. Now, if you get that ball out over the plate a little bit more, then that's right in his back barrel. But as long as it's crowding him, he doesn't get to it.
Fastball low and inside. There's that sinker Ray talked about. And the count goes full, 3-2. Bases empty, 2 outs. Top of the 6th. Full count pitch. He took it. A fastball. McGuire's gone. So are the Cardinals. And Springer comes out firing, ending the top of the 6th inning. Nothing fancy here. Good pitching out of the bullpen. By a Russ Springer fastball. Bottom of the 6th, top of the order for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Tony Womack leads off. Since his leadoff hit in the 1st inning that extended his streak to 24 games, the Diamondbacks have had just 2 singles. J.D. Drew, late break, falls in front of him, gets away. Womack going to second base. We mentioned earlier, J.D. Drew is learning how to play the game at the major league level. Not a whole lot of minor league experience.
Well, on this ball right here with Womack, he gets a good jump on the ball. It breaks into side. He's going to catch it, but you've got to smother the ball. You see right there how he gets to the left side, actually the right side of the ball. You've got to square up and make sure that at least you glove save that ball in front of you. Keep Womack from second base.
Eric Davis, the other half of the Cardinals right field platoon. Jay Bell, the batter, tying run at second base, nobody out. Interesting scenario here that our tribute to veterans on Memorial Day will happen during this half inning. In a matter of a minute or two, it could happen right in the middle of an at-bat, and in this case, a crucial situation in the ballgame in a 1-0 game. We're told it'll happen when Jay Bell's at-bat is over, which appears to be right now. Paquette throws out Jay Bell for the 1st out. And now to the Bank One Ballpark PA announcer, Jeff Munn.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, play will be interrupted. Major League Baseball, the Arizona Diamondbacks, and the St. Louis Cardinals ask that you join us in a moment of remembrance for members of the American military who perished while defending our freedoms and our ideals. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to Jumbotron.
Beneath the flag of the United States of America, we honor on this Memorial Day those fallen heroes who paid the ultimate price for our freedoms. With our nation's highest regard and deepest respect, all America now unites in a national moment of remembrance as we pause to honor the men and women whose legacy is service, whose heritage is sacrifice, and whose gift is freedom. God bless them.
Major League Baseball thanks America's military for their sacrifices made to keep us all free.
A very powerful, emotional moment in this ballpark as well as others around baseball on this Memorial Day. Garret Stephenson will be allowed a couple of warm-up tosses to get his feeling back out there. And it'll be 1 on, 1 out on this Memorial Day, May 29th, 2000. And a wonderful ball game, a low-scoring pitchers duel taking place in Phoenix.
A little surprised by Jay Bell there. Excellent runner. Also not taking a shot to right field. Garret Stephenson making the breaking ball, pitch to him to make him pull the ball to third base. Jay Bell, in my mind, probably as good as anybody in baseball getting the guy to third base.
And if the Cardinals win this game, Ray Knight, that at bat, which won't jump out at you from the box score, could be the key to this ball game.
Well, I've got a star in my book because of that, and it's one of those small things that wins ball games for you.
Well, Gonzalez is 2 for 2 today. Garret Stephenson really painting the inside corner on him. And the count quickly, no balls, 2 strikes. Gonzalez now raising his batting average up to 296. Oh-2. Got him with a high fastball. 2 outs now in the 6th. We check in again with Larry Beal.
All right, Bob, the Astros and the Rockies. This is a 4-4 game. Jeff Bagwell just missed a homer in his previous at-bat. Didn't miss this one. Bags now with 13 homers. Hits it out to the trees. 6-4, Houston in the 6th.
Pedro Stasio, one of the few guys in the history of the Rockies who's been able to win at home. Cardinals have one on their staff who had to get out of Colorado, Darryl Kyle. And a bouncer by Durazo. Dwyer waiting for it to the pitcher. And a quick ending after the leadoff double by Womack. On to the 7th inning in Phoenix. 1-0 St. Louis. Reds do not play today. Open a series with Montreal tomorrow. The Dodgers throw Chan-Ho Park against Al Leiter and the Mets. Next on ESPN2 tonight. Those are the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks pursuers in the NL Central and West, respectively. St. Louis with a slim 1-game lead. It seems like it's been that way for a week. Every time the Cardinals lose, so do the Reds. Or vice versa. Here's Ray Lankford 0 for 1 with a walk. 7th inning underway. Springer takes over for Stottlemyre now.
I think you're going to see the Cardinals take off today. They brought back, actually yesterday, Alan Bennis and Matt Morris, Mike Matthews, Rudinski.
Total revamping of their bullpen in a 24-hour period over the weekend at home.
And when they do get Tatis back, that's going to be some time. Talking about with Edmonds, McGuire, Langford, Tatis, 4 men capable of hitting 30, 35 home runs. With Renteria and Pena setting the table, looking at a team may score 1,000 runs.
Renteria and Drew will most certainly be double-figure home run guys. JD has 6. Renteria has 8. Cardinals would have to hit a couple today to tie a major league record for reaching 100 home runs in 50 games. The Mariners did it last year by hitting 100 homers in 50. 2-2 pitch. Langford hooks one foul. That, of course, before the Mariners moved into a real baseball park and got out of that kingdom. I mean, that place was a fan box for sure. This is not. This is a vast field. You don't get any cheap home runs here. 2-2 to Langford. Out of play, left side. Ray Langford, a former center fielder. He was reluctant a year and a half ago to move to left field, but once he was out there for a while, he really liked it. And now in his 10th full major league season, he sees it as something that might extend him a year or two. Ray's having a good battle with Springer, fouling off some pitches. Sun out to the west, shining in from the left field corner. It's a well-designed ballpark. I've never seen any fielders have any problems with the roof or the sun here. Some of the fans are in the sun late in the afternoon. 3:10 local time now. 2-2 pitch. Over but low. And Langford extends the at-bat at least one pitch further. It'll be at least a 9-pitch at-bat with Springer against Langford. Took it. It was low. Ball 4. First walk issued by Springer. For the most comprehensive baseball coverage on the internet, log on to MajorLeagueBaseball.com. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without expressed written consent. Greg Paquette stepping in 0 for 2. Preliminary report on Todd Stottlemyre is that he felt a twinge or two in his elbow. Langford started, stopped. Paquette started to bunt and then stopped, and it's ball 1. Todd Stottlemyre, of course, the rotator cuff problems, which is an injury to the shoulder area. But evidently, something in the elbow did not feel right. And that may reflect back on that breaking ball we saw. St. Louis Cardinals 6 base runners today, 4 of them on walks. They have hits in only 1 inning. They did manage to put them together as Renteria singled in Matheny, who had led off the 3rd with a base hit. Hey, if you're a baseball fan, you appreciate a game like this. How about that one last night? Pedro Martinez and Roger Clemens at Yankee Stadium. A classic. Maddox and Lieber in Chicago today. Langford had a good jump and Paquette fouled it.
Well, I felt like he was going to hit run right there, 1-0. Looking at LaRussa, trying to get something knighted here, looking for a big inning as opposed to just bunting the runner over and getting a 1-run lead. You mentioned this ballpark being a fair home run ballpark with the alleys out there, 376 veering out in 413. But last year, it was unbelievable. Gonzalez had 26, his career high. Jay Bell, 38, his career high. Matty Williams had 35, which wasn't his career high, but a lot of home runs. And Steve Finley had 34 home runs. So the ball will carry here.
1-1 pitch. High heat. Not to mention the great conditioning and the strength of all these veteran players. It's an interesting look back of about 20 to 25 years comparing veteran players now to what they were back in the 70s when teams like Cincinnati's Big Red Machine were rolling over everybody. 1-2 to Paquette. Runner going. Inside. Throw is late, and Langford swipes second base. He stole that one on the pitcher.
Well, it just looked like he wanted to go the whole time. Tony La Russa showing bunt the first pitch and going to a hit run. Great jump here. Springer with that long, elongated stride, 6'4", Still a very good, strong throw from from Miller.
So Ray Langford, a foot first late slide, very hard into the bag. That gives the infielder something else to think about, too. 2-2 pitch. Paquette shoots it on a play to the right side. Ray, this is really interesting. Back in 1975, there were 7 everyday players in the National League, 33 or older. 14 in the American League, 10 of them were DHs. These days, it is unbelievable the difference with guys that you mentioned hitting all those home runs at that stage of their careers. Two to Paquette. A bouncer outside third.
The Diamondbacks on defense, you see here, they're really, shortstop is gone. He's vacated, so they're not worried about that. They feel the right-handed hitter is going to hit the ball somewhere through this side. Second baseman really way off the bag, so this is an ideal play for Langford to steal third base, because second baseman really not even holding him on. Nobody out. You'll wait probably to 1 out before he'll try to make an attempt over there.
And his batter cannot advance the runner. Paquette kept fishing upstairs for fastballs. Springer took him right up the ladder for the strikeout.
He sure did. Just a great job of throwing breaking balls, fastballs. Here, fastball way up in the strike zone and away, kind of cut that pitch. And Paquette taking too big a swing for me with 2 strikes, runner on second base. That's when you break it down a little bit, try to make contact, hit the ball the other way. They're going to walk J.D. Drew here.
Well, in the bottom of the 6th and the top of the 7th, each team fails to advance a runner from second base with nobody out. Jay Bell bounced to third, freezing Womack. Paquette strikes out, preventing Langford from moving. This will be the 5th walk given to St. Louis today. Mike Matheny has scored the day's only run, leadoff single in the 3rd. Stephenson advanced him with a bunt. Renteria's base hit drove him home, and that's the 1-0 score right there.
This is where managers really begin to manage here in the 7th inning. You look at Showalter, you saw the glimpse of LaRusso there. Got runners on first and second, both outstanding speed. Let's check and see how tightly the defense holds Langford at second. If he goes with Durazo off the bag at first, you could bet that J.D. is going to follow. But in that case, you're probably going to lose Matheny, as they probably would walk him and force Tony La Russa to pinch hit for the pitcher Stephenson, whom I'm imagining he would do in the 7th inning, even though he's pitching a brilliant ball game. And for that reason, he'd probably rather just have these 2 runners hold, give Matheny a chance to drive in the run. The Springer's going to have to come right at him here anyway. Jay Bell a little tighter at second base on Langford, showing him a little bit more respect with 1 out as opposed to nobody out.
1-0 pitch. Fastball down, right field. It is right at Turner Ward. 2 outs. Stephenson to the plate. The ultimate chance to help himself. He's 0 for 20 on the year. He has only 1 career run batted in. Garret Stephenson is 6 for 85 in his major league career with the bat.
This is where La Russa decides my bullpen is not as good as my starting pitcher right here. If his bullpen, he had any confidence and all in him, right now he's going to try to blow this game open with a pinch hitter. But he feels like his best chance to win this game is with Garret Stephenson on the mound.
Fastball, yes. Interesting scenario. Finley leads off the bottom of the 7th. But Garret Stephenson has already worked through a couple of tough hitters in the Diamondbacks lineup. If you get Finley, he might get this ball game into the 9th inning. Top 7, 1-0 St. Louis. And a count of 1 ball, 1 strike on Garret Stephenson.
Diamondbacks swung way around to right field as they should be. Stephenson, not known as a hitter. There's your center fielder 5 or 6 steps to the right field side of second base. Turner Ward very shallow and shading the line.
2-1.
is where, as a pitcher, you better come right at the hitter. You can't afford to put this man on to get back to the top of the lineup, turn the lineup over. It's one of the things that drives you batty as a manager when a pitcher against another pitcher has a tough time with control.
That's low and away, ball 3. The target was inside. You think the take sign's on here, Skipper?
I believe so.
I would think so. 3-2, you take your chances, but 3-1, Tony's got to be looking for a walk here. And he gets it. Bases loaded on 3 walks. The pitcher is walked to load the bases. Langford to third, Drew to second, and now a good contact man, Fernando Vina, in the batter's box. Unbelievable.
Well, that'll kill you. That'll kill you right there. You get everything that you want. You punch out Paquette for the out. And you get Matheny early in the count, and then you go right to the pitcher. You feel like, as a manager, we got this thing under control. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, no.
Vina 0 for 3 today. He slaps one foul to left. You can be reasonably sure the ball is going to be put in play here. Fernando Vina came into this game with an on-base average of .431. He had struck out and still has only 15 times in 187 at-bats this year. He went upstairs for a fastball. That probably wasn't his pitch. Now the count is 0-2. Greg Swindell, the veteran left-hander, warming up. Dan Plesac, a good veteran, is Buck Showalter's other lefty out there. 0-2 to Fernando Vina with the bases loaded. He puts it in play. Base hit left field. Langford scores. Drew coming home. St. Louis leads 3-0. Their first hit since the 3rd inning. And the walks come back to haunt.
Strikes, trying to get the ball up in the strike zone, and throws it right down the middle. Vina with that nice little serve stroke to left field again. Womack making a funny little effort at that ball, dodging at a ball right at his feet. That's the second ball that we've seen him go at awkwardly.
It's almost as if Tony Womack's not seeing the ball very well. That ball really scorched. Renteria retired by Jay Bell. Cardinals pick up 2 runs on 1 hit and 3 walks. 3-0 St. Louis. Hogdog.com, a game summary. St. Louis had only 3 hits. Only 1 hit in that inning, the Vina RBI single. A lot of walks given by the Diamondbacks pitchers today. And Ray Knight, if you are Buck Showalter, an inning like that is just devastating.
Well, it kills you. That's why you get gray hairs and it starts falling out. Russ Springer is having a tough time with his location. With Langford, look where the catcher sets up right out there, and he throws the ball way low, then he walks Drew intentionally. Stephenson, the pitcher, misses bad down and away, and then 1-0-2 fastball right down the middle. Not any location, and then when he did get ahead of the hitter, Vina throws the pitch right down the middle where he could handle. So that's why you have a lot of long nights and hammer those rollies.
Bottom of the 7th inning. Finley leads off for the Diamondbacks, so obviously he no longer represents the tying run. Had a nice hitting streak a couple of weeks ago. He's hit some clutch homers for this club. In fact, that's why Buck was hoping the game would stay a 1-run game. Finley this year has hit a home run to tie a ball game. 8 others have put the Diamondbacks ahead when they were tied. 4 of those turned out to be game-winning blasts. Ahead of his home run pace of last year. 2-1 from Stephenson. missing. And the worst thing he could do would be to walk the leadoff man after he's had his lead increased. Although that doesn't mean you throw a BP fastball down the middle of this guy either.
Well, I'd rather him throw a BP fastball down the middle than to walk. I really had. I'd rather get beat by a home run ball, letting my defense somehow maybe climb the fence and make a play than to just put him over there with a free pass with a 3-run lead.
Stephenson battles back to 3-2. He has not walked a batter today. 5 strikeouts. Hey, and if you're Tony La Russa, that's okay.
That's all right.
That's only the Diamondbacks' 4th hit of the day. All 4 of them have been leadoff hits.
Finley's hit 333, and here's why. Look at his head go right down to the baseball, send it right back. Great balance on the backside. That's why he's developed so much power. He stopped moving forward, carrying the bat with him with his hands, stand back behind the ball, and just really drilling it right there.
Next up, Turner Ward.
Now, Buck's a guy, Bobby, that forces the offense. He's not afraid to run in this situation. 3 runs down is nothing. If he feels like he's got an advantage, he'd run Finley in a heartbeat.
Nobody throwing yet in the St. Louis bullpen. Garret Stephenson's pitch count, 93 here in the 7th inning. Coming off a complete game against the Florida Marlins last Wednesday night. Popped him up, it'll be out of play. So Garret Stephenson 6 pitches away from 100. The last time a Cardinal pitcher started a season 7-0 was Bob Tewksbury in '94. It's been a long time since anybody was 8-0. Upstairs, did he go? Right. He really helped the pitcher that time. Steve Ripley at third says, yeah, Turner Ward did swing. It was way upstairs.
Well, Turner very aggressive. The thing with him, sometimes he just makes up his mind to swing. Not very much of a swing there, and could have easily been called a no swing, but Ripley right on top of it. Got the best angle of anybody.
1 ball and 2 strikes. And he pops him up to center. Breaking back, now coming in. Edmonds getting there. Drops it, but he's got a force play at second base.
I think he called him out, Bobby. I think it was in the exchange from the glove to the hand.
Edmonds has made just 2 errors this year. So the batter is out.
Yeah, he catches the ball there and makes it. You see the ball settle in his web, and he's making the exchange. Watch how he comes in here. The ball settles in his web, goes to his glove hand. That's the exchange. Actually carried the ball a couple of steps. Pretty easy call and the right call.
1 on, 1 out. Andy Botch, the batter. Andy Botch has hit the ball in the air twice today. Fly ball to right, fly ball to short. Ball away. Andy Botch hitting only .215. Scott Radinsky has not pitched to a batter in a game this year, and that includes spring training. They took him off the DL 2 days ago. Tony La Russa and Walt Jocketty feeling that an untested Radinsky against a left-hander here and there, maybe a 1-batter appearance, is still better than what they've been seeing lately. Pitch. Well hit. Center field. Edmonds going back, and he's got it. Almost 400 feet away. That'll bring up Damian Miller. Wednesday Night Baseball, 7 Eastern on ESPN. The Angels and the Indians. Darren Erstad having a big year, and Cleveland chasing those White Sox. Regional coverage will have Oakland at the Yankees. And then on ESPN2, the Mets and the Dodgers. Mike Piazza, Gary Sheffield, lots of sluggers, Sean Green. And right here at the Bank One Ballpark, we'll have regional action. Cardinals Diamondbacks, ESPN.com, a part of the Go Network, go.com. In our regional coverage Wednesday night, Randy Johnson will pitch for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Look at those numbers. Look at the ERA. Pat Henkin, veteran right-hander for the Cardinals in that game Wednesday night. Stephenson missing away to Damian Miller. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Stevenson's gonna hate to see May roll on through. 4-0 with 186 in the 5 games, 4 starts he's had this May.
Slapped out to short, 1 hop, big hop. Renteria the short way. And Garret Stephenson has been almost perfect through 7. Mark McGwire following Jim Edmonds in the top of the 8th. Greg Swindell, 35-year-old left-hander, takes over here for the Diamondbacks. Respectable ERA, took the loss against the Brewers here yesterday.
Still can punch you out as evidence there with the 21 strikeouts and 19 and 2/3 inning, especially tough on left-handers. Right over the top. Strides a little bit toward first base, throws a big hook, straight fastball, 4-seamer over the top, and he's come up with a split-finger changeup.
Double switch for the Diamondbacks here in the 8th. New third baseman will be batting 9th, leading off the 8th. That's Hanley Frias, switch-hitting utility man. Jim Edmonds, Mark McGwire, and Ray Langford. Top of the 8th inning here at the Bank One Ballpark in Phoenix. 3-0 Cardinals on a 3rd inning Edgar Renteria single and a damaging 7th inning 2-run single by Fernando Vina after the Diamondbacks walked the bases loaded, including Garret Stephenson. Mark McGwire waiting. He is 0 for 2 with a walk today to hit behind Edmonds here in the St. Louis 8th inning. Swindell to Edmonds. He lifts another one on a play. The guys who faced each other over in the American League in Greg's days with Cleveland. Jim Edmonds, a longtime Angel, and the 0-2. He hits one well to left center. Gonzalez going back. He has it on the track. Ray Knight, how about Mark McGwire's day?
Well, we showed you the spots that we thought he was vulnerable. They're down and away, and then a fastball in off the plate and sometimes up. This was his first at bat. The slider down and away. He just barely missed that ball. His next at bat, you see him going into that pitch, fastball almost right down the middle, but Mark has a tendency to freeze on that pitch just a little up. As a result, 2 pretty good jobs of pitching it. Down and away and up in the strike zone.
Todd Stottlemyre walked McGwire, leading off the 2nd. That fly ball was in the 4th. The strikeout in the 6th. The shift is on again. 3 infielders on the left side. He rocks one down the line. McGwire gets a lot of singles like that, and he will hold at first base. Now very slow in getting the ball back in, Gonzalez, but McGwire was holding all the way. He gets more singles that hit outfield walls than any batter in baseball.
He hits the ball so hard. This ball is stinking smoke down that left field line. And he's running as hard as he can. What happens, though, is the second baseman ends up going out as a helper, Jay Bell. There's no one at second base. Durazo's kind of hanging out there, but look at this. Just, I'm talking severely gassed down that left field line. And if Mark would have kept on running, there'd have been no one there to take the throw. He just had to outrun Durazo.
That would be an even match. Here's Langford. Stinking smoked, huh?
Stinking smoked.
For St. Louis, only its 4th hit of the day. Ray Langford 0 for 1 with 2 walks. His walk, leading off the 7th, set up that 2-run inning. He hits a fly ball to left field. Gonzalez can watch it. It is caught at the wall. A 7.5-foot wall, and Luis Gonzalez was hanging around to make the play.
He goes back, finds the wall, don't see the wall, finds it, stays there and catches the ball up above the rail. Look how long he hangs there. He hangs there with one arm, reaches back over his head. What a play. Wow.
Crowd standing ovation. Earlier today, we showed a Mark McGuire batting practice home run hang time. I think Gonzalez was up there almost as long. A most unusual play. Guys usually catch those at the top of their leaps, but as we mentioned, that wall is only 7.5 feet high out there. Turner Ward coming in for the fly ball of Paquette. And St. Louis is gone in the 8th. They were inches away from leading 5-0. It stays 3-zip as Gonzalez goes scaling the wall. Can't stay up on the wall longer without buying a ticket. Luis Gonzalez in left field.
Look at his feet, how he climbs the wall with his feet and then holds on with his right arm. I didn't notice that the first time we looked at it, but he actually used his feet for the climb and held on. And Ray Langford hitting him a little tough luck today. He's hit the ball about 800 feet and got nothing for it.
Yeah, Finley went back to the wall in deep left center to haul in Ray's drive back in the 2nd. Bottom of the 8th, Hanley Frias batting in the 9th spot leads off, and Stephenson gets ahead of him. Hanley Frias, switch hitter. He's only had 42 at-bats this year, 8 hits. Slick fielding infielder. He's that straight downward movement as Stephenson pulled the string on him.
Well, he has pitched a gem today. Working that fastball in and out, up and down, the curveball on occasion.
Garret Stephenson has never pitched a major league shutout. Fly ball right field. J.D. Drew got a good jump to his left. And right now, Stephenson's 5 outs away from that first shutout. Coming up, our triple-header continues at 7 Eastern on ESPN. Texas Rangers and the Detroit Tigers get together tonight. How about the season Ivan Rodriguez is having? Batting .380, hitting lots of home runs. Juan Gonzalez against the Rangers, the team that brought him to the big leagues. On ESPN2, Mets-Dodgers. More on those games coming up. Line drive. Renteria couldn't get up. And Tony Womack is 3 for 4 today. Down by 3, he chooses not to challenge, and that's a good thing. Ray Langford put his throw right on the bag. Tony Womack has 40 hits in his 24-game streak now.
Well, he's a slasher. He goes up there, only 5 walks on the season, and just puts the bat on the ball, does not try to do too much with it. Again, seems to really like that spot right out there over shortstop, left center field. You don't get too much trouble when you hit the fastball the opposite way, because that really sets you up for the breaking ball and the changeup.
Garret Stephenson, in his last 5 starts in the month of May, has only given up 6 runs. One time he gave up no runs and got a no decision. 1 out, Jay Bell 0 for 3, 2 fly balls and a grounder.
Let's see how effective Garret is out of the stretch. 7 in the 3rd innings, they're just 6 hits. He's not had to work out of the stretch very much today.
And if he gets the win today, Garret Stephenson will be the first Cardinal to win his first 8 since Paul Dean, Dizzy's brother, back in the gas house year of 34. And then Bob Gibson, who started out 8-0 in 1965, 3 years before his unbelievable 68 season. Pitchers have been cursing Gibson ever since for having the mound lowered. Fly ball to center. Edmonds camping under it. Bob Gibson's earned run average that year was 1.12. 28 complete games. These Diamondback fans have fallen in love with Luis Gonzalez in his 1 year and 2 months as a Diamondback player. He's one of the most likable guys in the game. You know, you get to know him, Ray, you always wonder why he's bounced around so much. He's such a wonderful presence on a ball club.
He gives you everything he has, a lot like Steve Finley.
Stephenson popping everybody up now. Renteria wants it, and Garret Stephenson has thrown 8 shutout innings today, giving up 6 hits, 3 of them to Tony Womack. 3-0 St. Louis into the ninth. Joe DiMaggio doing his time in the service. Ted Williams served in 2 different wars, World War II and the Korean, and of course the great Jackie Robinson. Happy Memorial Day to all of you today. We've had some great moments today in Phoenix. Outstanding ball game, 2 great pitched games. And we go top 9. J.D. Drew for the Cardinals. A day when families have enjoyed action together at the park here in Phoenix. 1 ball, 1 strike to Drew, 0 for 2 with a walk. Rick Swindell still pitching for the Diamondbacks. Garret Stephenson, if he does his job in the bottom of this inning, will join 2 Diamondbacks with 8 wins. Todd Stottlemyre, who cannot figure in anything but a loss today unless they get him off the hook, and Randy Johnson. That's the first out here in the top of the 9th inning. A Sports Center special. Roy Firestone and Digger Phelps go to Assembly Hall in Bloomington for an exclusive interview with Bob Knight tomorrow, live at 6:30 Eastern Time, a special edition of Sports Center.
Bobby Knight I met in spring training about 1978. Got to know him, and we started talking about our fathers. And my father recently passed away in April, and I told Bob Knight that my dad had a shotgun that kicked him too much. Bobby Knight been out of avid outdoors, but he told me about this shotgun, and he mentioned it, and I had never heard of it. About 2 months later, and you have to realize it's getting base hit out there. 2 months later, Bob Knight sends me a shotgun from a small store in southern Indiana, and wrote a note and told me he hoped that my father and I had happy hunting. And it's something that moved me. I've always been a Bob Knight fan. He gets hammered and ridiculed, but that just goes to show you Bill Parcells has told a lot of stories about Bobby Knight, but here's a man that cared enough about me as a fellow professional to send my father a shotgun, and it just moved me, and I've been a great fan. Prior to that, because of his surname, I had the attention drawn there, and then the Indiana great basketball teams, but a very misunderstood man that has a tremendous heart, does a lot of things good that people don't know about.
There are a lot of things he has done. No doubt about that. This is an age.
Point, counterpoint, here we go.
Well, no, this is an age when figures like Bob Knight are so closely scrutinized by the media. And you just hope that the man himself doesn't allow his actions to destroy what he was able to accomplish in his work. Good bunt. Garret Stephenson has had 2 good sacrifice bunts today. So a runner in scoring position here in the top of the 9th.
Well, this is so vital for starting pitchers to be able to get runners over in scoring position, to let the top of the batting order turn around and have a chance to tack on extra runs. When I managed in Cincinnati, we were brutal at doing that. You talk about the pride that La Russa has with his staff. We worked endlessly on bunting. And we had a lot of guys, Roger Sawkill, that came over from the American League. Starting pitchers just could not get the ball down. It cost them a lot of innings, too. If you're a pitcher and you can't get the ball down in that situation, especially down a run or up a run late in the game, a lot of times you have to be pinch hit for it.
No balls, one strike to Vigna. 2-run single last time. And Ray, just to take your point one step further, now that baseball is finally in the process of getting rid of AstroTurf, some of those fundamental things will be even better executed in the years to come. It is much easier to bunt successfully on a nice natural field like this than it is on that hard stuff.
No question.
No balls, 2 strikes. Vigna 1 for 4. Collected his 16th and 17th RBIs 2 innings ago with that 2-out slap under the glove of Tony Womack. So he extended his hitting streak to 8 games with that 2-run single. One and 2. Slaps it to left field. Hits it pretty well. Gonzalez was playing shallow, but he will get there. And the Cardinals strand their 7th runner of the game. Bottom 9, Durazo, Finley, Turner Ward, the do-ups for Arizona. Up on the board by Garret Stephenson so far. A 6-hitter into the 9th inning. Trying for a 2nd consecutive complete game against one of the best home teams in baseball. The Diamondbacks lost yesterday to Milwaukee. That broke an 11-game home winning streak. Nobody throws 2 complete games in a row these days except Pedro Martinez and Randy Johnson, it seems. Not walked a batter. Cardinals have their closer warming up just in case, Dave Beers. Stephenson has never been in serious trouble today. I guess the most was Tony Womack's leadoff double in the 6th. He just sat there for 3 more outs. Ball never left the infield. Durazo is 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. And he fouls one upstairs. Young slugger. Fastball right there. Remember that changeup he threw him back in the 4th? Probably took 15 miles an hour off his fastball, and Durazo couldn't move. Big curveball. And that'll even the count 2-2.
Well, you see the effect of this. The fastball just 86. The curveball 68, 18 miles an hour difference. But the key to his success today has been location.
Fastball too far inside. 3-2. And again, Tony La Russa does not want to see a walk with Finley on deck. Threw him a strike.
Straight changeup, though, and that shows me that this guy has so much confidence. 74-mile-an-hour straight changeup, Durazo way out ahead of it. I mean, but that's phenomenal. 3-run lead, not afraid to throw the changeup.
Oh, he struck him out at the knees with a fastball. Durazo can only walk away. 6 strikeouts for Garret Stephenson today without a walk. And this guy 3 times.
Well, look at the 1st inning. He goes right there with a fastball down the middle, throws him, then he comes back with a big looping curveball, freezes him again, and then in 9th inning, nice fastball down and away. 3 different pitches, 3 different locations, same result.
7 Ks without a walk. Finley the batter, 1 out, bottom 9. And a chopper foul. Steve Finley with a base hit in 3 trips. League's leading RBI man with 51. Matt Williams out in the lineup today after taking a high fastball from Steve Woodard yesterday off the hand. A swing, says Steve Ripley. How quickly is Finley gone? Strikeout number 8.
After throwing a slow curveball, and he comes back and just throws a fastball way up in the strike zone. Finley trying to protect, not able to hold up.
Garret Stephenson 1 out away from his first career shutout. He's thrown 3 complete games in his major league career. First 2 came for the Phillies in '97. Ground ball to McGuire. Is it fair? Yes. Game over. Wow. Garret Stephenson, talk about finishing with a flourish. And Buck Showalter can't believe that ball was called fair. A 6-hit shutout. St. Louis wins 3-0. More from Arizona coming up.